right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, it is one of our monthly trailer episodes. And Jason Harris is joining us with puzzle pieces for a whole bunch of trailers for movies coming up in June. And we'll see, maybe we'll end up covering some of these movies as full episodes later on in the month. But these are always fun to kind of get an idea of what is coming. Before we get to it, we got a bunch of things we got to do here. First of all, as we always do on these trailer episodes, I got to read some listener puzzle pieces. Let's start off with that. For May, we covered a lot of movies. We got a bunch of puzzle pieces here. We did, let's see. Okay, so we did Ghosted, which was not the best movie, but we did get a couple of puzzle pieces here. From Joe Black, I've been on the podcast a whole bunch of times. He mentions his own film, The Setup, about a blossoming romance thrown into upheaval by a super spy mission. It sure does sound like Ghosted was inspired by Joe's film there. Karin Carlson-Snider suggested True Lies, which I was thinking, did we actually talk about True Lies on the episode? I don't remember it being a piece, but I feel like it came up maybe in passing. But, obviously, as far as like action rom-coms go, it definitely fits the mold. So it's definitely one to fit in there. And also a movie I've been wanting to revisit. I haven't seen it. I'm actually not 100% sure if I have seen it. I feel like I did like opening weekend when it first came out in the 90s, but it hasn't been since then. So I got to watch that one of these days. Let's see. What else do we have here? For Polite Society, another one from Joe Black. He suggested Everything Everywhere All at Once for the traditional generational conflict of female immigrant culture juxtaposed with Western culture, which definitely. It was actually on my list of possible pieces, and I ended up not bringing it up. So, definite one to include there. Fast X, I have an extra puzzle piece that I can't believe I didn't bring up when we were doing the conversation. So this is not a listener puzzle piece. It is the host puzzle piece. But I was going to throw in there Aquaman as an extra piece because, I mean, come on, Jason Momoa plays the bad guy whose main motivation for killing Vin Diesel is his dad got killed by Vin and his family. And in Aquaman, it's the exact opposite. Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa, the bad guy, Black Manta, wants revenge on Aquaman because Aquaman killed his dad. He's switching roles here, so I had to have brought up Aquaman. Next up, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. NostalgiaCast brought up Nope, Jordan Peele's Nope, because of high evolutionary related reasons. I think it has to do with some face scratching. And then Joe Black again sent in another piece here for Guardians of the Galaxy. He brought up Tusk, a movie about a scientist experimenting on humans, trying to turn them into the perfect life form, but he keeps failing and he keeps getting worse. And yeah, definitely a good one to fit in there. Last listener puzzle piece for the month is actually for a movie we covered the previous month, but I figured I'd read it anyway. It's for Air, Ben Affleck's latest directorial effort. And Brandy Bell, Josh Bell's sister, brought up Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which focuses on the Dior brand and their need to expand their product line to appeal to a broader audience. So I didn't even realize that that's what that movie was about. We never did cover that film, although we did talk about it on a trailer episode. But yeah, definitely. That sounds like it fits right in there with, the kind of brand-based movies we've been getting a lot of lately. So a good one from Brandy Bell there. And as always, if you have puzzle pieces for movies that we end up covering in June, make sure to send them in. I want to hear them. So what else do we got going on? Well, we have a live Piecing It Together coming up this month. Thursday, June 15th, 7 p.m., Maya Cinemas here in Las Vegas. We have The Blackening. I am so excited for this one. It's going to be so much fun. And we have an Enter to Win going on right now. If you check the show notes, you can find out how to win tickets, and it's going to be a great show. I've got Miss Michelle from the Las Vegas Black Film Festival as one of my guests. I've got Marlon Money Stevens, who's a filmmaker, and I've got Mikey VIP, who's a DJ, rapper, podcaster, who I've known for many, many, many years, and it's going to be fun to have him on the show. And yeah, we're talking The Blackening. Again, it's June 15th, so check the show notes for how to get tickets and how to win tickets. And last but not least, I got to tell you about this because this week we finally started the pre-order for the Pup Pups, an album I've been talking about for years and years and years, and it's finally coming this summer. And this week only, I've got a special pre-order bonus going on. If you pre-order the album either at thepuppups.bandcamp.com or on my website, bydavidrosen.com via PayPal, your pet will be able to be included in a special bonus song that I'm adding to the end of the album. And so this is the week. Get your pre-orders in. This is a novelty, silly, fun album of songs about dogs and cats. And if you're a pet lover, you're going to love this thing. So it's called The Pup Pups. The album is called Who Wants Din Din? It's coming out this summer. And the pre-order is finally, after over a decade, it's live this week. So, with all that said, I know there's a lot of intro stuff this month, but let's get to some trailers. Jason Harris is back with us for another month of trailers. Jason, how you doing?
Dave, I'm fine because it's summer, and that means movies are here, and nobody has to go outside or speak to each other. Oh, wait a second. Most of these movies suck. I'll be outside all summer.
I can't agree with you, Jason. There's been some good movies lately, and there's some good movies coming. But we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. What was good? Tell me.
Well, you know what? Before we get to what was good, we do have a first time ever for these trailers episodes. We've been doing these for almost 3 years, I think, that you've been joining me every month for these trailers episodes. I didn't see a single one that we covered in the main conversation of our main movies: Knights of the Zodiac, Hypnotic, Book Club, The Next Chapter, Crater, Assassin's Club, White Men Can't Jump, Kandahar, The Little Mermaid, The Machine, About My Father, and Blood and Gold. Didn't see a single one of them.
I saw all.
Did you?
Nope.
Wow.
I saw none of them, of course. As we record this, Dave, we're getting ready for a Sidney Lumet directed episode. We're going to do Dog Day Afternoon on Awesome Movie Year. So like what I've been doing is just watching Sidney Lumet movies, and like, let's be honest, what's smarter, watching The Verdict or watching Hypnotic?
Yeah. Kandahar. Yeah.
Kandahar and 12 Angry Men. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I guess comparatively speaking, a little better. But I did see, when it comes to May, I saw, and we covered here on the show, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fast X, and Polite Society, all of which were great. There was also a lot of other movies I watched in May, even though I didn't end up watching the ones we covered. We did talk in our little speed round about Fool's Paradise and Blackberry, two movies that have It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia alumni, both of which ended up being two of my favorite movies of the year so far. You didn't see either of those, did you?
No, I mean, I definitely want to see, Blackberry. I haven't heard good things about Fool's Paradise, but it looks interesting. So I'm glad that you liked it. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the minority on that one, but I loved it. It's so funny. And I don't know. I have a feeling it's one of those future cult classics we always talk about. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and of course I'm going to end up seeing Guardians 3.
Sure.
It's, I've just been mostly at home watching stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
But that's okay, Dave.
Fair enough.
So,
I also watched The Starling Girl, which we talked about in the speed round, which was very good. I didn't cover on the show, though. I also watched The Mother, which was not very good. And You Hurt My Feelings, which I also wasn't very big on.
You're in the minority there, it sounds like.
I know. It's surprising to me how much people have connected with that one. But I don't know. Reality just came out on HBO just the other day, or Max as we call it now. And that was pretty good with Sydney Sweeney. I like that.
I'll have to check that out. I know Influencer's out on Shudder. I'm a few months behind. I just watched Dungeons and Dragons, which I didn't like as much as you.
Yeah.
But hey, so... But I'm kicking butt on watching older movies this year. So,
You're doing good.
Hey, that's a thing.
You're doing good. So. Last one, and then we will jump into some new movies for June. Also, Joe Latruglio had a directorial debut last month, Outpost, which is a thriller and was pretty good. It's not great, but, it's interesting to see him jump into something serious like that for his directorial debut.
I just finished rewatching season 1 of Party Down.
Nice.
Have you watched it lately?
No, I haven't, but I always loved him.
There's the great episode where Ron Ken Marino goes back to his high school reunion, which he caters, and his old friend Donnie, played by Latruglio, is there, and he's just kind of done nothing with his life, and he's reliving like drawn, their old high school days. So,
That's amazing.
but yeah, I mean, we always want to see the state guys do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into June movies, starting with Past Lives, which will be out in theaters on June 2nd. It's the directorial debut from Celine Song and is probably one of the most buzzed about movies of the summer as far as like indies and potential like awards type movies go. Looks like a beautiful like it's kind of hard to parse out exactly what's happening in this, but it's like a decades long romance where people meet back up after many, many years. And yeah, I mean, people have been raving about it ever since its festival debut.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of got the same gist that I did out of it, and I know it's highly acclaimed. Man, did you watch this and feel like there's a high Wong Kar-wai influence on
Sure,
this?
sure.
So I definitely felt like Chungking Express
Hmm.
vibes in here, and then the idea of like what is romance over those decades and what could be. I put the Notebook down there,
Yeah.
so those were two that I thought would fit this one.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, the Before trilogy is something you could bring up with this. That's an easy one to go with. The other thing I thought of, I wasn't sure if there's something to this film with like choosing different paths or something like that, and so I thought of the Gwyneth Paltrow movie Sliding Doors. So
I had it written down. I just decided,
nice.
leave a few layups out there.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
yeah.
Looking forward to that one. But next up, on the opposite end of the cinema spectrum, we've got Transformers Rise of the Beasts in theaters June 9th. It's kind of unclear how much this is a reboot and how much it is the seventh entry in the series that Michael Bay started. It seems like it's a mixture of the both, but all new cast, of course. And I don't know what to
Yeah,
think about it.
well, I think it's one half fuck off plus one half shove it up your ass equals we don't give a fuck about you. So
There you go. Yeah.
this looks fucking terrible, dude. And I will tell you, I've never seen any of the Transformers, but I loved Bumblebee.
Mhm.
I did. That was a great movie, and I would have just been happy. And they just don't leave this shit alone.
Yeah.
And not only does it look terrible, like it looks terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, what rudimentary like local college class animated this? No offense to local colleges,
Sure.
but it just looks like fucking shitty sketches. Like the action, I don't know, man. It looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Transformers.
It's fun.
Fuck off.
It's funny when they get to that final shot and it's like, the music kind of dies down. You just see the raw action and it's completely unimpressive. Like
Right,
it's
right. I mean, it looks like they watched like Infinity War or something like that and was like, hey, how do we just do a sketchy version of this? Right.
sure.
But yeah, so Dave, I don't know, man. This looked like there was some type of predator type thing, right? Like we're coming down to Earth or we're hiding on Earth and we're going to take over because we're a different breed of species type thing. So I had Predator. I had obviously Planet of the Apes. There's that whole thing.
Sure.
And then, of course, sadly, I had real life with AI coming to kill us all.
There you go. I think we'll be seeing that as a puzzle piece on a lot of movies in the next couple of years. But yeah, good ones there. Of course, along with Planet of the Apes, I had King Kong. And I will say, as dumb as this movie looks, like that's the one thing that has me slightly interested in watching this one because I do love big monsters. So, I mean, it's a monster transformer that's shaped like a King Kong. So that's kind of fun. The other thing was to go to another Michael Bay property, his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. It seems to have that kind of attitude of that like kind of hip hop thing going on with these characters, and so
I don't know, man. I guess okay.
Yeah.
If you want a 65-year-old white dude like soundtracking your hip hop,
Hey, Anthony Ramos is the star of this one, and Michelle Yeoh is a Transformer. So
Okay, Dave.
just silence. Let's go on to the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Which,
By the way, real fast,
yeah,
there are definitely a bunch of 65-year-old white dudes who could definitely hip hop soundtrack it,
sure,
but I don't know if Michael Bay's one of them.
yeah,
So.
probably not. The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster will be in theaters on June 9th. It's the directorial debut from Bomani Story. After a black girl's brother dies, she tries to bring him back to life. It's clearly a Frankenstein kind of thing going on here, but what else did you think on this one?
This looks interesting. I was kind of very like, okay, cool, this has like a voice to it. It could be a fun kind of urban horror movie, I guess, right? Type thing. Is
Sure.
that what you would call it?
Yeah.
So I thought of all the ones that you would think of, like, trying to bring someone back to life: Flatliners, The Crow, Reanimator. But Dave, there is no 65-year-old guy white hip hopping this one, sadly enough.
Sadly, very sadly. Yeah, all good ones to include there. Along with Frankenstein, I'd put in May, which was kind of a young girl Frankenstein movie, so that kind of fits in there. And then also The Fountain is kind of like an out of left field one, but like the idea of somebody like going to extremes to try to save somebody that they love, and that obsession leading to all kinds of disasters. So yeah, I don't know. This looks like an interesting one. Hopefully, it comes together and it's a good one. Next up is Flamin Hot, which will be on Hulu on June 9th, which, as we've talked about, we've had this strange run of really great, crazy true stories of brands movies this year with Air, Tetris, and Blackberry. And this is number 4 of the list. This one's directed by Ava Longoria, and it has a very silly, fun vibe to the trailer about the guy who came up with the Flamin' Hot Cheetos recipe.
Are you bored with this IP, advertising product genre yet?
I'm willing to get excited for this last one, and then I'm done. That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know you liked all three of those.
Yeah.
I've only seen Air. I do want to see Blackberry a lot. But this one did not look good to me at
Mm.
all. Like, it's first of all, I know there's like some dispute over, like, is this really how it happened? Which, whatever, like,
Sure.
that's fine. But like, this just looks like, hey, I was a down on my luck worker at a factory that was closing, and now I made flaming hot Cheetos. And it's like, okay, where's the movie? It doesn't look like there's a movie. And I love like elote and all like the foods that he's like referencing here, but this just looks boring, dude. And I really didn't think of anything else except like those movies and all those like 90s movies that were like, we gotta save X, right? Like, a lot of those man-child movies.
Mm.
Not that this is that, but like, Happy Gilmore had to save his grandma's house. Tommy Boy had to save the factory, all that stuff,
Sure.
which I like all those movies, but this just looks like a really long advertisement and not a movie to me.
Yeah, I guess so. To me, I thought it looked fun in a very like silly, goofy way. My first piece for it would be like a College Humor sketch that of course, this is a feature length thing, and that's a lot harder to pull off. But like, just the idea of it alone is silly enough that I'm like somewhat interested. So I don't know. To me, it did look very funny, and so that to me, that's enough to kind of pull me in. And plus, like we've said, the other ones have been really good this year. So I don't know. We'll see. The Founder is another piece that I was thinking, which has come up in some of the other ones, not all of them, but definitely when you've got a food brand that we're talking about, you got to go with the McDonald's movie.
Yeah, I just wonder if, like, I know they pulled off some of these. I wonder if this is like the right form of media for this one. Like, could this have been a podcast, or,
Hmm.
kind of like you said, like, could it have been like a food documentary show or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, next up on Netflix is Extraction 2, which will be out on June 16th. This is Chris Hemsworth back in his big action Netflix movie where I'm pretty sure he clearly died in the last one, but there's just no stakes to any of this whatsoever. So he's back, and I don't know. The whole thing just looks like a video game to me.
It made me want to watch the first one. The action looked good.
Hmm.
And so I know people really did like certain parts of or like the first one. So, but yeah, I mean, like, this is more of that, like, this is where we're at right now. This reminded me of that X-Men Wolverine origin story. I guess that was called X-Men Wolverines,
I
right?
think so, yeah.
Where didn't they do that like twice, like in the middle of an X-Men, and then as its own movie on top of that,
Probably.
where like he has to go back and find out like how he got to be how he was, type
And
thing,
they'll do it
which I
again,
know
I'm
we've
sure.
right, which we've seen in Bourne also and stuff. But so I had that, and then I might have talked about this movie before, but the whole first half of this, he's in this like very cold, desolate environment, and if you want a really good B action movie and something like that, check out Brazen
Mm.
with Jason Momoa. That's a really fun movie.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you talking about that back when it came out. I still need to watch that one of these days. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this to me felt so much like a video game cutscene. So I was thinking of like Call of Duty and Killzone and all of those kinds of first-person shooter games. So I mean, that's the main piece that I had here. There's also supposedly a 21-minute uncut action sequence, which I doubt it. But if that's what they're going for, you kind of got to go with things like 1917 and all these like movies that tried to make a big stunt out of the cinematography. So yeah, I don't know. The one thing I will say, like earlier this year with John Wick Chapter 4, which is just a living, breathing video game, we're kind of in a golden age in a way of these like over the top video game action movies. So maybe it'll be good in that way, but otherwise, I don't know. It just looks like the same stuff. So
Well, I mean, and the thing is, for this one, this is Netflix, right?
yeah,
Like, this is the one you want to see in the theater, though, right?
exactly. So yeah, that probably won't happen. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The next one is the one I'm the most excited about this month because I had no idea that this movie existed until I was making my list.
Which is crazy because I talked about it on Awesome Movie
Did you
Year at
really?
some point in there. I feel like it. Maybe I'm a liar.
I
Who
don't know.
knows? Leave me
Yeah,
alone.
we'll see. Anyway, it's called Maggie Moore's. Actually, now that you mention it, I kind of do remember you saying that, but whatever. June 16th, it'll be in theaters. It's directed by John Slattery of Mad Men and stars John Hamm, Tina Fey, Nick Mohammed. And it's a dark comedy mystery that is set in a small town where two women with the same name are murdered. And there must be some kind of coincidence to that. And it looks weird and funny and great, and I can't wait for this.
Was this based on a true story, Dave?
I don't know, and I doubt it. That would be really weird if it was.
Yeah, this does look fun. I mean, I thought of Vengeance, the BJ Novak movie
Sure.
from last year, that kind of like, you know, out of place mystery type thing. Which was all right. It wasn't the best. And then this definitely had like Shane Black type feelings
Mhm.
for me. So I put down Kiss Kiss Bang Bang to mix it up a little. And I think John Hamm is like finding a niche here with these kind of like offbeat mystery movies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Confess Fletch was so much better than anyone expected last year, and so I'm excited for more of John Hamm doing that. I thought of Fargo here because it does have that kind of small town oddball character, Coen brother kind of thing going on, and then a Nick Cage movie called Red Rock West that I just watched recently for the
Oh
first
yeah.
time. Great
I
movie.
gotta see that.
Oh,
Yeah, people love that
it's
movie.
so good. And yeah, lots of oddball characters, a murder mystery, everything being thrown together in a blender. A lot of great stuff there. So I hope I'm really hopeful for this one. Next up, No Hard Feelings. Jennifer Lawrence doing an R-rated comedy. It'll be in theaters June 23rd. It's about a woman who's hired by some parents of an oddball weirdo kid to try to take his virginity before he goes to college. It's directed by Gene Stupinski, who did Good Boys, and they're really
Good Boys was
trying.
funny.
Good Boys was
Yeah.
funny, and they're really trying to push this movie hard.
Yeah, it's funny. My old writing partner and I were once developing a script called The Hookup,
Hmm.
which was kind of this in reverse, where like the high school stud has to help his uncle, who's a loser, get laid in
Okay.
return for like his uncle like helping him pass like high school or something like that.
Hmm.
Sounds, which was fun. We probably should have gotten that done, and then I would be not sitting here in a wondering how I'm going to pay rent. Leave me alone, Dave. I don't know. Again, like yeah, like I liked Good Boys, right? I don't know if this one looks that funny though. Like I want it to be. I want these movies to come back,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if this is the one. Who knows? Maybe it is. I thought of The Sitter, the Jonah Hill babysitter movie
Sure.
from 2011, where that's all crazy and fun and obviously Risky Business
Hmm.
in here, you know. And then the last one, this is almost like a reverse Blockers,
Yeah.
right? Because the parents are trying to help him get laid.
Absolutely. I had Blockers on my list too. And yeah, it's like that whole era of comedy where like the raunchy R-rated comedies were starting to die out, but there was those last grasps of it. So The Sitter I think fits in there, Blockers fits in there. I also put The Girl Next Door, earlier mid 2000s sex comedy. But yeah, I mean, they're trying. Let's put it that way. They're trying to bring back these R-rated comedies, and I would welcome them if they're good. We'll see what
I want him to
happens.
come back. I write a lot of this stuff, you
There
know,
you
that
go.
so could it be good, maybe.
Yeah.
But it feels like this probably like was should have been on Hulu.
Probably, but
Yeah.
I'll welcome anything to the theater. Next up, Asteroid City, which we'll most likely be covering on a full episode later this month. But Wes Anderson's latest, an absolutely stacked cast. It looks like Jason Schwartzman is the lead, I think, so that's exciting.
Did he co-write this
I
one
think
too?
so. Yep,
Oh.
and cranky Tom Hanks. That looks fun. And it's this weird kind of midwestern town with a little bit of a sci-fi bent to it. I'm not 100% sure what story-wise it is. It's just more of setting. It's kind of set up here.
It seems like one of these like quirky tourist towns,
Hmm.
right? And then maybe there's an alien invasion
Yep.
for a minute there, but that's so minor in the kind of trailer. Who knows? Like it's Wes Anderson, so you really don't have to show much. But this, I mean, literally, I went to Spielberg on this because you get that Close Encounters vibe
Hmm.
right away, right?
Sure.
But then you think of like these quirky tourist towns and really setting a location. And I thought of Jaws with Amityville, or Amity Island, I should
Yeah,
say, not
sure.
Amityville. So the last movie I thought was like, because they seem to be stuck there because of whatever's going on, was the Christmas movie Trapped in Paradise. Speaking of Nicolas Cage,
Oh, there you go.
which is trapped in that small town vibe, and
Yeah.
who knows, maybe Groundhog Day. Not that this is a time loop thing, but that kind of, you're in this town and that's where you're staying type.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I wonder how much of the like I wonder how weird this is gonna get. Like obviously it's weird, it's Wes Anderson, but like how like science fiction-y it's gonna get. I was kind of leaning into that with my pieces. I thought of White Noise from Noah Baumbach, which is of course a collaborator of
Yeah.
Wes Anderson and also very inspired by Close Encounters. I also thought of Mars Attacks, Tim Burton's whole like alien invasion movie, which again, I don't know how much that's going to factor into the movie itself, but like all these oddball characters like dealing with this alien presence that kind of led me there.
It's funny because I mean, you said Midwest. This looks like Southwest to me,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's right.
I know he shot it in Spain.
Okay.
But yeah, because like, look, I love Wes Anderson. On the record, French Dispatch was my least favorite of his movies.
Mm.
Did you like that one?
I did. I mean, it's definitely not towards the top, but it's not my least favorite. It's somewhere in the middle.
What's number one?
Uh, Still Tenenbaums.
Yeah, I got that in Moonrise Kingdom as you 1 and 2 could go either way.
Fair enough. That works. I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot more when we cover the movie, but let's move on to Through My Window Across the Seas on Netflix, June 23rd, which he's shaking his head. I don't know why I included this either.
I mean, I guess this must be a sequel to the Sensation is Back or whatever.
That's exactly why I kept it on the list, because when I was looking up what the hell is this a sequel to, the original has a 1.6 average rating on Letterboxd. Like, why did they make a sequel to this if nobody liked it?
Maybe people have to be watching it. But,
they must be.
I couldn't even tell what this was. It's like a bunch of like rich, like maybe teenagers or young 20s, and they like seem to have endless amounts of money,
Mm-hmm.
so they can just party in San Juan and bang each other. And I don't know if there's actually anything beyond that in this movie.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it. It's young people just living it up with no responsibility. But yeah, I don't know. I just have mostly just the standard romance movies as my puzzle pieces here. But what do you got?
See, I went the other way. I went with like Euphoria.
Okay.
And I went with Spring Breakers because that was that kind of like, let's go all in right now type feeling.
Man, if this movie was Spring Breakers and Euphoria, I would be so in. But I just had like The Notebook for like a romance where everybody's reuniting and whatnot. And I already brought up the Before series, but I had that on my list as well. And then like kind of like those like Under the Tuscan Sun type things, like people in beautiful locations and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm sure that this movie will never be spoken about again after this moment on this podcast. But
until the third one comes out. By the way, what a fucking title!
I know.
I'm cursing a lot today because he's making me through my window across the seas, through my window, via space capsule or something. I don't know. What do you want from me? This is too much. Leave me alone.
Let's move on to God is a Bullet, a movie that will allegedly be in theaters on June 23rd, but I don't really believe that because there is like zero out there about this movie, even though it stars Jamie Foxx and Micah Monroe, directed by Nick Cassavetes, speak of The Notebook. And I don't know, it seems like something that should be a bigger movie, but I don't know. I've seen no information about this other than happening to stumble upon this trailer.
Right, and this looked good though.
Yeah.
This trailer looked good,
Yeah.
but we know how often I get fooled by trailers looking good.
That is right. They're certainly trying. They made a very exciting trailer. It's about a cult that kidnaps children, and Jamie Foxx infiltrates the cult, I believe. Is that what you got?
I thought he was the cult leader,
Really?
and the other guy was like the guy who infiltrates
Oh,
it. But I don't know.
maybe.
So maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Definitely felt like sticking with HBO, which now you can find on Max.
Oh, yes.
Max.
I don't think that's the tagline at all, but
I thought of True Detective season 1.
yeah.
Had a lot of those vibes to it. A missing daughter. We know we're going with Taken. And then the cult aspect, let's throw out Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, which is a great movie that seems to be forgotten over the years.
Yeah, no, great movie and a great pick here. I definitely think that fits really well. You mentioned Taken for the Taken daughter. I'm going with Gone Baby Gone, a movie we covered on Awesome Movie Year. There's like this whole underground network here of people that seem to be responsible or know someone who's responsible. So I thought that would be a good pick here. And then the other one is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I thought of, a lot of like very like alt people as characters, a lot of tattoos, a lot of piercings, a lot of violence, all that kind of stuff. So
was there a tattoo in that movie?
there was a tattoo in that movie. Yeah, lots of them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Dragons.
Run, Rabbit, Run.
I'd be more interested if it was a dragon with a girl tattoo. I don't know what that means. Leave me alone. Run, Rabbit, Run.
Yeah, Run, Rabbit, Run. Sarah Snook.
Yeah. Did you finish Succession?
We did. Were you happy with the ending?
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed, but I thought they nailed it, didn't you?
Absolutely. It was a perfect ending. I thought it was fantastic. So, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, before you even start, like, this is a movie about like a woman who feels the loss of a family member. And I'm like, wait, that was literally what happened to her on Succession season 4.
Yeah, there you go. She's digging into that feeling for sure. I don't know. This will be on Netflix June 28th, and I don't know. It's like a thriller. I want to say psychological horror, but I don't know. More just like a straight up thriller about a doctor who is frightened by her young daughter's inexplicable memories of a past identity. I had to write that down because in the trailer, it's just all over the place.
Well, I got that she thought she was like her Snook's daughter, thought that she was Snook's missing sister from who went missing when Snook was a kid. Snook.
Yeah.
But I figured you were gonna lean into the like children doing kind of other stuff,
Sure,
making us all kind of feel the heebie-jeebies. So I went the other way. Because the setting looked interesting and like very desolate and remote, and I know it is a thriller, but there is a mystery element, and I thought The Dry with Eric Bana was a good little mystery that needed to be solved in one of those kind of really isolated areas, and I just wanted to add some different pieces this week.
Yeah, no, that's a cool one, and I feel like whether or not the film is like The Dry, I feel like the level of movie making, it's like right along there with it. It's like it feels like it was made by the same kind of people. So I don't know. We'll see on that. But yeah, I definitely went all creepy kids. I went The Sixth Sense. I went The Babadook. There's creepy kids, weird abilities, elevated horror, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So we'll see on this one. Hopefully it'll be something for her. Next up, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. It's DreamWorks Animation's latest adventure. It'll be in theaters June 30th. And it looks fun to me. I don't know. They've been kind of on a roll lately.
Have they?
Yeah. I mean, they did the Mitchells versus the Machines, right?
That was good.
That was great.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. What else have they done lately?
Were they Puss in Boots?
Oh yeah, that was good. All right, you win.
All right.
You've proven your point.
All right.
So, this one just felt like they saw the Sea Beast and saw Turning Red and said, "Let's do those two in a thing."
Exactly. Yeah, you're 100% right. I have both of those written down as well. I also threw in the Addams Family and Wednesday having her moment. So you got that for the bad girl, the monster, being the hero.
I will say this animation looked good. It caught me right away, and I was like, oh, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Their animation has been really spectacular lately. So yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll see. Maybe it'll be another fun one. So that's the last one of our main list here. There are a lot of other movies coming out in June. I figured I would run down this list of things that I'm already planning on covering, even though I already said we're covering the Wes Anderson one, but also Spider-Man Across the Universe, which I'm seeing tomorrow at the time of this.
It's good.
It'll be great.
Oh,
It'll be
yeah,
awesome.
it's gonna be great. What time are you going? Can I come?
3:30 Thursday.
Oh, dang,
We'll see.
that would have been nice.
The Boogeyman, which I might go see with Gina this weekend, although I'm not exactly looking forward to it, but she loves these kind of movies, so we'll see.
Doesn't look very good.
Yeah, I don't know. Elemental, the latest Pixar movie.
Hey, Dave, did you ever watch pro wrestling when the Boogeyman was a character?
I don't remember that one.
And he would eat worms, and he would just say, "I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you." It made me laugh just thinking about it. So.
That's amazing.
Elemental, people say is good. I didn't really, what is this? It felt a little Zootopia meets Inside Out, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks like Inside Out 2, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, the trailer didn't grab me, but obviously we're all gonna watch this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, really excited about this one. The Blackening will be out on June 16th, and on June 15th, I'm doing a live episode of Piecing It Together at Maya Cinemas with Miss Michelle, Marlon Money Stevens, and Mikey VIP. And check the show notes for tickets. Very excited about that.
Yeah, we had such a great time doing the last one, so I hope you guys crush it. And the movie looks good.
Yeah, and don't forget, you'll be on the next one. So
I support either way, Dave.
There you go. Then, if nothing else, like Morbid Curiosity, The Flash.
It looks good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're doing this whole multi-universe, extension, blah, 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 that everyone's got to do it. But just for Michael Keaton as Batman, and dude, can he just be in everything again? Because he's just awesome. And I love, what a great Spider-Man villain for Marvel and Batman DC. Like he's awesome. He's the man.
He's great.
Yeah.
And then of course Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Thankfully it sounds well, it did get trashed. Thankfully it sounds like they're gonna let him go after this one and not try to do more. But I'm excited for it, whether it's good or bad. I'm down for one more Indiana Jones, so we'll see what happens with it.
I am not excited for it because they had 3 good Indiana Jones and then they Crystal Skull fucked it with the last one. And I saw a headline that worried me so much on this when this was premiered at Cannes. I think it was off IndieWire. They're like, after this one, maybe Crystal Skulls wasn't all that bad.
Oh no.
So
yeah.
And also they say the de-aging of Harrison Ford, like it's just not, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Blech.
We'll see. I don't know. So yeah, that's our last movie for the month. There's also that Robert Englund documentary, Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, which that sounds like it could be a fun doc. But that'll do it for June for us. Jason, is there something else you watched recently you want to recommend to our listeners?
I did. You want me to give you 2? So one new and one old. So
do it. Let's hear it.
From this year was a Sundance breakout. It's on Hulu right now. Rye Lane. Did you watch Rye Lane?
Still haven't, but it's definitely on my list.
Yeah, nice. Kind of one of these. It takes place a little over a day, but one of these one day walk and talk romance things. And then I think I used the term real life earlier in this podcast. So let's recommend Albert Brooks's Real Life, which was very prescient about the future of reality TV. That's on Canopy. I just watched that for the first time. So good stuff.
I've never seen that. I have a lot of Albert Brooks to catch up on. I think that's like a rabbit hole I'm going to have to go down one of these days.
It's a fun rabbit hole to go down. So eat away, little bunny.
There you go. Jason, where can people find you?
I guess I'm still on all the socials. Jason Harris Comedy, Jay Harris Comedy, Eat This Comedy. Letterbox, go for Jason. That's all the things, guys. Whatever.
Yeah. What's happening on Awesome Movie Year right now?
As I mentioned, we're in the middle of 75. I don't know, man. Could it be shaping up to be the best season yet, just based on like what these movies mean to cinema and everything? Feels like it. I mean, I'm enjoying not only the movies we're watching, but the movies we're watching in research for the movies that we're covering.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This week, actually, that this is going up is the week that Listomania goes up, and man, going down that Ken Russell rabbit hole, that was a fun one for me.
That does seem like it's your style. I really want you to go down that Chantel Ackerman rabbit hole since we're doing Jean Dielman.
Yes. Yeah, just what I need. All right, Jason, thanks as always, and we will talk to you again soon.
I'm Josh Bell.
And I'm Jason Harris, and we co-host a podcast called Awesome Movie Year.
Each season, we take a look back at an awesome year for movies, which is every year.
We deep dive into these specific years, and we pick out why they were such great years for films. We go over the biggest hits, the biggest flops, the best pictures, some personal picks, some cult classics.
Years we've covered in past seasons include 1994, 2003, 1977, and 1984, and we've got all of film history to look forward to. So check us out at awesomemovieyear.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about some of the movies coming out in June. I'm sure we'll be covering a bunch of those on the show in full episodes. And of course, we have the Blackening live show coming up. Again, that's Thursday, June 15th here in Las Vegas at Maya Cinemas. Check the show notes for how you can win tickets to that show. And check the show notes for all the other links. Like I said at the top, we have a lot going on right now, from lots of Piecing It Together episodes to the Pup Pups pre-order to, actually, I didn't mention the Patreon at the top of the show. Obviously, I always mention the Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, with bonus content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and my music career, starting next week, every day of the week, and I think it'll go into the next week too. I am releasing the score from a film that I scored last year. No, 2 years ago already. Jeez. But the film actually just came out on Tubi, so that's why I'm now releasing the score. It's called Jacqueline. It's from friend of the show, Chris Johnson. He's also the director of Beater, which is also now on Tubi. Beater, if you remember, is a film score that I released back in 2020. And now you can actually watch the movie also on Tubi. A bunch of Chris's films just hit Tubi. So Jacqueline, the score, the full soundtrack to this 2-hour film, will be hitting exclusively my Patreon, produced by David Rosen. That's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. Man, I got a lot of things to announce. I'm doing a lot of stuff all at once this week. It's crazy. Also this month is the Nevada Women's Film Festival. So we'll have news about that coming up soon. So it's going to be a busy month, as always. So thank you for being out there and listening. Make sure you're subscribed wherever it is that you listen to the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast, you could also rate us 5 stars. We'd appreciate that. And follow us on social media at PiecingPod. And last but not least, before I close out this episode, I didn't mention the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces Facebook group yet. So join our Facebook group and join in the conversation. Talk about all the movies we talk about here on the show. We'd love to have you there. So that is it. Let's close this episode out with a piece of music, and with the Pup Pups album finally being available for pre-order, I think we should close it out with a piece from the Pup Pups album, which is now available for pre-order, thepuppups.bandcamp.com, or you could check it out on my website, bydavidrosen.com. Let's play Big Dog 2. This is a song sung by my dog Harvey. Hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
Little dog, big old heart. Mama says that's the important part. I see another dog and I start to shout, because I gotta show him what I'm all about. Well, you think that I'm little, but I got a big bark. My mama says it's not the body, but the size of my heart. You say I look like I'm little, and that might be true, but I ain't scared of nothing, man. I could be a big dog too. I could be a big dog too. just small, but you should see me when I'm playing with my tennis ball. Well, you think that I'm little, but I got a big bark. My mama says it's not the body, but the size of my heart. You say I look like I'm little, and that might be true, but I ain't scared of nothing, man. I could be a big dog too. 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 I could be a big dog too.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.